I'll take all my personal stuff with me. Then Barbara replied, Of course you would. Harvey added, Get out of here, quickly. My in-laws always sided with my husband, no matter what. I couldn't take it anymore, especially how they never blamed him even when he did something wrong. As the movers finished loading up the truck and drove off, I watched them leave and then got into my car. Trevor, confused, asked, Whoa, what is this? What's going on? I told your parents everything, I said, starting the car while glancing at my husband collapsing to his knees in shock. My name is Stacy, a 31-year-old office worker. Trevor and I originally met as colleagues at the same workplace. He joined as a new employee, 3 years younger than me. I was assigned to train him, which was how we first met. Initially, our relationship was strictly professional with no romantic feelings involved, of course. However, as he became more independent, we gradually grew closer. And about 5 years after he joined, he decided to move to another company. That's when he confessed his feelings for me. I had feelings for him too, and was sad about the thought of us being apart. So I was overjoyed by his confession, and of course, I said yes. Our relationship progressed smoothly from there. We would go out for meals after work, talking about our jobs, and spend our days off visiting various dating spots. About a year into our relationship, Trevor proposed to me. Stacy, from the moment I first saw you, I knew you were the one, he said. And as we continued dating, my feelings haven't changed. I want to be by your side forever. So Stacy, will you marry me? His youthful and enthusiastic proposal really touched my heart, and I gladly accepted, as I was deeply in love with him. So we got married. We introduced each other to our parents, held a wedding ceremony, and thought we were set for a happy married life. Initially, our marriage was blissful. Trevor shared household chores with me, and we spent our weekends happily watching movies, shopping, and going for drives. Eventually, our apartment started feeling too small, so about 6 months into our marriage, we decided to move. We looked at various properties, keeping in mind the possibility of having children in the future, and chose a spacious apartment. We spent most weekends visiting different properties, and finally settled on one we both loved. It was a bit expensive, but we were satisfied with our choice. And living there turned out to be incredibly comfortable. The large kitchen made cooking a joy, and with spacious rooms and plenty of them, we had a lot of room to relax. Trevor was also very happy with our new home. We were enjoying these blissful days, but my happiness soon began to crumble. One day, my in-laws expressed a desire to see our new home. They were amazed by it. "It's so beautiful and spacious," Barbara exclaimed. "What a fantastic place," Harvey added. "Yeah, it's really comfortable to live in. We love it," Trevor replied proudly. I was pleased to have our new place complimented by my in-laws. But then a little while later, they contacted Trevor with a request. "You want to live with us?" I heard Trevor ask in surprise. We had only been married for just over 6 months and had moved into this apartment less than a month ago. The idea of living together so soon seemed unreasonable. I assumed Trevor would refuse, but to my shock, he said, "Yeah, I'll ask her if it's okay." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. He should have said no right from the start. "What are you thinking, Trevor?" I thought to myself as I waited for him to finish the call. "What's going on? Was that a call from your parents?" "Yeah, they want to live with us in this apartment," he explained. Oh. I had thought they wanted us to move in with them, but they wanted to move into ours. Either way, I was opposed to the idea. It wasn't that I disliked my in-laws, but I still wanted to enjoy our life as a couple. Why did they want to live with us? Trevor explained that their house was getting old and the repair costs were becoming too expensive. So they thought living with us would be a better option. I couldn't believe they were just trying to save money while enjoying a nicer place to live. If they needed care and support, I could understand the desire to live together, but their reasoning was just about convenience. I'm against it, I stated firmly. Why? Trevor asked, surprised. We've only been married for half a year. I can't even think about living together so soon. He then frowned and asked, Did you listen to what I said earlier? My parents are struggling because the repair costs for their house are rising. Yeah, I heard you. But just because our apartment is nice and spacious doesn't mean we should live together. I think they should try to manage their own expenses, like paying for the repairs or selling the house, before considering moving in with us. I stood my ground and expressed my feelings honestly, but he got angry. Jeez, I can't believe I married someone so heartless. Isn't it normal for a wife to help her husband's parents when they're in trouble? What kind of logic is that? I wondered. So if my parents were in the same situation and they asked to move in, would you agree? I challenged him. I would be fine with it. Your parents are in trouble, right? I'm not like you. I wouldn't refuse them. I doubted whether he was being honest or just saying this to make me look bad. Would he really agree if my parents asked to move in with us? The conversation ended inconclusively, but I have made my position clear and resolved to refuse any further discussions about living together. However, just a few days later, on our day off, my in-laws unexpectedly showed up at our house with large bags. My gosh, they were heavy, Barbara exclaimed. We're getting old, Harvey noted. Hey guys, welcome. Come in and rest. This is your room, Mom, and this one is for you, Dad. Trevor directed them. I was frozen, unable to comprehend what was happening. Then, snapping back to reality, I quickly confronted Trevor. What's going on here? We're living with my parents now, he said. But I was against this. They're in trouble, and I can't ignore that. I'm the head of this household, and I have the final say. We're living with my parents. That's final, he declared. I couldn't believe he had unilaterally decided to live with his parents. My in-laws then nonchalantly carried their belongings into our apartment, carelessly moving my things aside to make room for theirs. Hey, don't just throw my stuff around like that. You should have tied it up if you didn't want your things moved, Barbara retorted, glaring at me. We're living here now, so you should keep it clean. What the? I was just told about them moving in. I was furious, but collected my belongings, feeling helpless. The in-laws began ordering me around as if it were natural. I'm tired from unpacking, so hurry up and get us some drinks. I'd like one too. This is something a daughter-in-law should prepare without being asked. They constantly complained and treated me as if I were their servant. My perception of them changed drastically. I began to dislike them immensely. It was clear they were upset with me because Trevor had told them about my opposition to the living arrangement. But I was the one who should be upset, as they forced themselves into our home. It was outrageous. Since their belongings had already been moved in, I couldn't just kick them out. I was also reluctant to leave the apartment we had chosen with so much effort. So I started thinking about how to best handle the situation and teach my in-laws a lesson. And so our unwanted cohabitation had begun. They lived as they pleased, using our food and not helping with cleaning. They would use whatever food they found in the fridge, so there were many occasions where I had to change the planned dinner because the ingredients were gone. The house got dirtier than when it was just Trevor and me. The in-laws were in the house all day, every day. Yet, they expected me to do all the cleaning. Housework is the wife's job. Why should we have to clean? Barbara argued, pushing all the responsibilities onto me. They treated me as if I were just a housekeeper. But I refused to be their puppet. I only did the bare minimum cleaning and relied on a robotic vacuum, ignoring their complaints. I only cleaned my own room. What a useless daughter-in-law, Harvey muttered. Poor Trevor, having to put up with her, Barbara added. Trevor also joined in, berating me. My parents are right. You are a failure as a wife. I regretted marrying him deeply. But then something concerning happened. Trevor started coming home late, claiming overtime, but not seeming tired. Moreover, he smelled of soap, which was unusual for someone working overtime. I sensed that it wasn't just overtime and hired a private investigator who confirmed my suspicion of infidelity. He was seeing a woman 5 years younger than me, apparently working at a strip club. I was speechless at his selfishness. But in a way, I was grateful. His infidelity gave me an advantage in the upcoming divorce. I hired a lawyer and began preparing for divorce, while his parents continued their carefree lifestyle. His father spent his days golfing, and his mother frequently hosted tea parties with friends, often buying expensive brand clothes. I wondered about their spending, but stayed out of it. I found a new place to live and finalized the divorce preparations. All that was left was to confront Trevor with the divorce papers. However, he was away on a business trip, which I suspected might not be true. I decided to wait for his return, but that night, something unexpected happened. After my bath, I went to the living room for a drink and found my in-laws glaring at me menacingly. On the table lay the divorce papers I had prepared. Hey, what's this about? Wait, you just barged into my room? I asked, more upset about that than them finding the divorce papers. That doesn't matter. Well, yes, it does matter to me. Why do you have divorce papers prepared? She pressed on, her face turning red with anger. I realized I had no choice but to tell them. I explained that Trevor was having an affair, and that was why I was planning to divorce him. Their reaction was shocking. I see, so you're getting dumped. Barbara sneered. A younger woman will become our son's wife. That's even better, Harvey said, laughing carelessly. They were truly despicable. Then they told me to leave immediately. Oh, of course I'll leave. But I need to arrange for movers, so give me a few days. I'll take all my personal belongings with me. Well, obviously. Your stuff is just crap anyway. I wish you'd be gone before our son returns from his business trip. Yeah, just get out. My in-laws always sided with my husband, no matter what he did. I couldn't stand it anymore and was determined to make them regret it. I called the moving company, and luckily, they could come in 2 days. I had already signed a lease for a new apartment and could move in any time. When I told my in-laws I'd be leaving in 2 days, Barbara said, Then we'll go on a trip for 2 days. Be gone by the time we're back. This worked out for me. I could handle the movers alone without any interference. The move went smoothly with no one in the way. The movers finished loading the truck, and as they drove off, I got into my car. That's when I ran into Trevor returning home. Hey, where are you going? He asked. To my new place, I replied. What? What are you talking about? Good timing, actually. There's a divorce paper on your desk in your room. What the F is going on? He asked, stunned. I'm divorcing you because you've been unfaithful. The private investigator's report makes it undeniable. Wait, let's talk this over calmly. Hell no. From now on, everything will go through my lawyer. I've told your parents everything. When I told them you were cheating on me, they were happy and told me to get out. They didn't even know that I was paying more than half of the rent for this house. You'll have to manage the rent on your own now. And of course, I'll be seeking alimony, I said firmly. I drove off, leaving my husband collapsing to his knees in shock. Later, I received a call from my in-laws. Stacy, what's going on? Why is there no furniture or appliances left? I told you I'm taking all my personal belongings. I bought all the furniture and appliances in that house, so of course I'm taking them with me. I replied. That can't be true. Oh, yes, it is. I earn much more than your precious son. They were extremely surprised to hear this. Oh, and please discuss the rent and such with your son. I don't think you'll be able to live there without contributing a cent anymore, I added. Please, come back. We can't handle this, Harvey begged. We barely got anything for our house, and we have almost no savings, Barbara revealed. Well, that's what happens when you spend money like you did. But that's none of my concern now. I'll just proceed with the divorce through my lawyer, I stated and hung up. I blocked Trevor and his parents' numbers. Through my lawyer, I filed for divorce and demanded alimony from Trevor and his mistress. Eventually, I received $50,000 from each of them. Trevor, burdened with debt and a reduced income without my support, had to leave the apartment. Now he's crammed in a small apartment with his parents. Their excessive possessions like golf clubs and designer clothes and bags only add to their cramped living conditions, and they seem extremely stressed. I've heard they're continuing their wasteful spending to the point of potentially needing to flee at night. Trevor has sent messages asking for help, but I've ignored them all. If he seriously thinks I would help, he's incredibly foolish. As for me, I'm living comfortably in a new apartment. Although my marriage was a failure, my career is going well. I plan to focus on my job and aim for promotions and raises.